Welcome, y'all. This is Sarah Bingham, and I've got just a fabulous guest. The two of us are just rocking and rolling. And I've got Rebecca Thompson Hitt here, and she can introduce herself. I'll give you a quick idea of who I am. I'm a nutrition consultant. I've been in practice for almost 4 decades. I have got a master's degree in nutrition. I'm a certified nutrition specialist, and I just love helping people teach their bodies how to heal themselves with food. So that's my passion, that's my love. And Rebecca, take it away.
Hi, so happy to be here. Thank you, Sarah. It's so nice to be here with you. I have been working with families for about 25 years, and I have a master's in marriage and family therapy. I have been supporting families around the world for the last probably 12 years or so online. This has been my work. Started on the phone. Now, what I'm doing is not so weird with the whole COVID thing. But my passion is really supporting families and finding ways, getting information about what's happening in their brains, their bodies, their nervous system, and how families can work together to support patterns, to support their relationships, to have a life that works for them.
Amen. And
Whew.
yeah, no, exactly. And so we're going to do this 3-part series, and we're going to take you through the dynamics of a crisis. Ta-da! Because it is happening and we are all in it and we're all feeling it. And there's amazing stories of how people are coping. So we wanted to start this. We're going to have 3 series. One of, okay, it's a crisis and what do people usually do? And so I'm going to come in with food knowledge, food wisdom, and Rebecca's going to come in with stress wisdom. And the second series, we're going to talk about behavioral issues. Thank you very much. You just locked me up with in my house for a month, 2 months with my kid or kids that have behavioral issues.
Or partner.
Right. Exactly. So we'll cover all of that. And the third is the opportunity, the Chinese symbol. Oh, that is not a, yes, Chinese. Chinese symbol for crisis is the combination of danger plus opportunity. So we're going to talk about in the third part of the series, what are the opportunities? What really good stuff can come out of this ridiculous isolation thing, and how can we begin to look at really benefiting in many ways? So we're going to start off with, oh dear God, what has broken out, and what do most people do? So I'm going to start with the food. So what do most people do? They throw their food up in the air and they go, oh, screw it. I'm just going to get breakfast cereal for the kids, make sure I have, we need ice cream. I mean, my God, this is really hard. Need to make sure I have cookies and ice cream around and chips and all these things because they make us feel better. And this is really a hard thing to do. Okay. So y'all, I have lived my life. I have never had a slow-paced life at all. I have lived through a spouse committing suicide. I have always been a working mother. I have been running my business and homeschooling and yada, yada, yada. So what Rebecca can tell you, like any psychologist can tell you, is when you start piling on the stress, pretty much guaranteed your physical health goes down. Mine never did. So take that. And the reason it did is because when I knew the proverbial stuff had hit the fan, I knew I had to tighten up my diet. There was just no messing around. If I really kept my diet well and full of nourishing food, I would get through it and it wouldn't take me down. And if you're the mother, everything spins around you, baby. Mothers are mostly, and there are some fathers who are, but in general, it's we women who are, spinning all those plates in the air. And if we go down, a whole lot of systems go down with us. So here's what I did. And here's, Rebecca and I were talking earlier about under stress, we're looking for fat, sugar, sweet, and salty. Okay. And those are what I call the num-num factor, right? We're hardwired. Exactly. And so what did you find out, Rebecca, when you were, when you were going through your divorce, you were looking for stuff. So how did you deal with that?
Oh, I wanted sweet and salty, and I wanted fatty. I wanted all of them. And so one of the things that I did was I tried to find the healthiest versions of those things, recognizing I was going through a really stressful time. And so I made myself really good ice cream. I found really good cream. I found really good eggs. I found really good vanilla, and I found a sweetener that worked for me, that wasn't an artificial sweetener, and it also wasn't just cane sugar. And I made my own ice cream. And so I would get up and I would be like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. I don't think I can get through another day. And I would start my day with ice cream. That would be my breakfast. But I was meeting my body's need for good food and recognizing that I was having a stress response. So finding the best version of that food that was possible.
Exactly. And I'm going to put that, by the way, up on my website. If you go onto my website, which is Fast Food Healing, and become part of my PhD club, which stands for Prioritize Health Daily, I will have a resources page there where you're going to see my version of how to cope. I've got two great ice cream recipes. OMG, they're so good. And they use no cane sugar, and they nourish your body. So it's not like I never eat sweets. Holy cow, I love my sweets. But that has altered quite a bit in my, in my journey, learning how to eat better. So, yeah, and you can make your own potato chips in your oven by tossing thin sliced potatoes in olive oil and or coconut oil and throwing them in the oven at a high temperature. There's all these things that you can do, but I'm telling you that if you fold the way the food industry wants you to and starts bringing home all this stuff that is processed, made with white flour and white sugar, here's what you're doing. You are increasing the chances of your immune system. Well, for sure, sugar suppresses the immune system. So, bam, right there, you're cutting your immune system in half. Oh, great. So, I'm under a lot of stress, and there's this thing out there that's going to get my immune system. Oh, let's put an elephant on my immune system. So, great. Eat processed food loaded with sugar. All right. And then we know that highly processed foods, lots of sugar, actually increase your stress response, disenable you from handling stress because they use up your B vitamins. It just goes on and on and on. So they increase the likelihood of depression and anxiety. Great. So why would you feed yourself that food? And why would you give your child that food? That just doesn't make any sense. So I'm trying to just kind of wake you up, to the fact that this is a time to love on yourself with really good food. And it's not a matter of denial, it's a matter of swinging it and switching it over to really good stuff. And the beauty right now is your kids are captive. They can't go anywhere. So you can make this stuff with them. And I've got the recipes on my website. And you can start this path. That's tremendous. And there's a great movie. Here's a great movie that'll help you stay on course. It's called That Sugar Film, and it's right on Amazon Prime. It's a phenomenal documentary, funny, entertaining. All the kids are going to love it, and I promise you, it leaves a really good impression, to say the least, in everyone's minds. So that's all I'm going to say right now. But I just want you to just get that this is an opportunity, and you can stay above you may get the flu, but if you're eating well, it'll just be a nuisance. It will not take you down. So that's what we know. So take it away, Rebecca, from the standpoint of, oh dear God, this is all happening, and what do I do with all my anxiety and depression?
Oh my gosh. And I have this really unique opportunity of seeing families from all over the world as part of my practice. So I have this window into what's happening in India and South Africa and Slovenia and all these places that I normally wouldn't in my daily life have an opportunity to see. And we are all across the world experiencing the same stressors right now. And so I want to just let you know there are people all over the world who are in the same situation as you are, trying to figure this out, because this is unprecedented. None of us have ever experienced anything like this. I mean, I'm from Florida. We have hurricanes. That disrupts everything for, a week. If it's a bad hurricane, it disrupts it for longer. But there's a beginning, a middle, and an end that we can all see, even in these like hurricanes that are coming. And in this, we kind of see the beginning And we don't know if we're in the middle yet or not. And we have no idea when it's going to end. And that creates a lot of stress. I know there's a lot of parents right now who have kids home for the very first time who are normally in school. And some parents are being asked to school their children at home because the school is just sending work for their kids, but not providing education. And so these parents are now having to take that on as well while they're trying to juggle their jobs. There's a lot, and those are the ones that have jobs. So, there's a lot of stress that's happening right now. And so I want to name that this is real. This is happening. We don't know when it's going to end. And for some people, that's really, really, really hard. If you already have anxiety, this is like a nightmare scenario for you. And so it's really important that we name it, that you say that to your kids. If you have kids at home right now who are watching you, name it. You don't have to have it all together. Nobody has it all together right now. Everybody is trying to figure this out. The more that you can say, this is really hard. I don't know what's going to happen next. And that's really hard for me. I wonder if that's hard for you.
Exactly. And guess what? Your kids know. To fake and go, oh, we're going to be all right. Your kids know you're stressed up the yazoo. So
That's right.
if you admit it, it actually is quite comforting to a child, because if they sense underneath that you're going bonkers and they're feeling it, that's worse, right? Yeah.
Absolutely, because there's not congruence with what they're feeling from you and what they're seeing and hearing you say. The more that there is coherence and that's the same. So yes, I am feeling anxiety right now. I really want to stress eat right now. I was a thread not too long ago, yesterday, the day before. The days are this weird fuzzy thing right now. So I'm sure you can relate, but it was this whole thread of one of my friends said, I've lost 10 pounds so far, being home and, just eating good food and all of that. And then the thread was all these people who are like, no, I've gained 10, I've gained 10, I've gained the freshman 10. Let's call it the Corona 10, like there's like all these people because they're eating junk and they're confined to their home and they're stressed.
Exactly. And stressed.
So we need to name that. We need to say, yes, this is stressful. This is unprecedented. If you have kids who are, I remember teaching my son homeopathic when he was like 2. But anyway, the kids will catch on. This is unprecedented. There's never been anything like this ever before. And we're all figuring it out together. And so things are going to be different, and naming that. And sometimes I'm going to have a really hard day, and sometimes you're going to have a really hard day. I heard a family, they had a meeting, and they said, you know what, we're all going to have a turn freaking out. Let's just do our best to not all have the same freak out at the same time. So,
place, right?
right. So that was their pact. So, and I'm going to make room for you when you're freaking out, and you're going to make room for me when I'm freaking out. But, we need to all have room, and know that your kids are experiencing this. You're going to see it in their behavior.
Absolutely.
Some of it, if they're just sitting around eating junk food, has to do with that. Some of it has to do with what's happened and that their lives have just completely changed for most kids, unless they were already home and already homeschooled. And even those kids are like, wait, I homeschooled, but it's such a misnomer because I was never home. So, now all of a sudden I'm home and I don't have my activities and my co-op and all of these things. So for all of our kids, we've just gone through tremendous change, and that's stress. Even positive change is stress. Even if there are things that you're like, oh my God, I'm an introvert. This is great. I just, my world is smaller now and that feels better. There's still stress in this because of the way this is going down. And for a lot of people, it's because I can't go out now. Even if you didn't want to, and even if you were an introvert and you like being at home.
It's
for some people, yeah.
I just spoke with a client today who said, I'm an introvert. I really like that. But you tell me I can't go out? Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, no, having a hard time with that. So we need to understand that, and we need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves in whatever way we can at the time. Some people were runners. I had a mom saying, I was training for a marathon. I was running every day, and that was really helping my stress. And now, in the country that she's living in, she's not allowed to go outside and run. And so now she's like, oh, now what do I do? And so it requires some creativity, but we need to be moving every day. That moves the cortisol. If we can break a sweat,
Yes.
however we do it, if we can break a sweat, then that helps us. And if we can sustain it for a little while, that releases the cortisol from our systems. That's the stress hormone. We want to be able to do that. If we're just sitting here and all the cortisol is just filling up our whole bodies,
Not good.
it's not good.
Nope.
So finding ways of moving, finding, like Sarah was talking about, nourishing yourself with good food, making sure you're getting sleep. One of the things that Dr. Bruce Perry talks about when people are under a great deal of stress is to focus on regular sleep, regular healthy meals, and regular movement. It doesn't have to be exercise. It can be that, online dance class. It can be, it doesn't matter. Like, you can dance with your toddler. It doesn't matter. Move, but do those on regular intervals. It doesn't have to be a strict schedule. It's not like I got to set an alarm and I got to be up at this time, but it's you want your nervous system to kind of look like this. You want it to look like a wave. So something active followed by something quieter, followed by something active, followed by something quieter. Bringing in regular meals and rhythm to your day. I like the word rhythm.
We are very
Rhythm.
That's right. And children love rhythm. It's very soothing.
Yeah.
Children always behave better and are always more soothed. My first profession was early childhood development, and I was a preschool teacher. So the best thing you can do for children is give them repetition and rhythm, because it just makes them feel very secure, and the behavior follows it. So any last minute thoughts, Rebecca, before we close this session?
So some people, when they're in a situation like this, become rigid. So I just want to contrast that from rhythm, which is there's still flexibility. There's still, okay, we're not quite ready for a nap yet. So even though it's 1 o'clock and this is normally nap time, there needs to be some flexibility. So just notice that tendency in yourself. If you're trying to micromanage and control everything, just relaxing a tiny little bit, recognizing it, naming it. I'm trying to control something. Go organize your bookshelf. Go clean your closet. Go control that, but come back to the rhythm. You want a rhythm, and that's probably the best thing you can do right now.
Rhythm with grace. How's that?
Yes, love it. Thank you, Sarah.
All right, thank you, Rebecca, and tune in to our next one where we're gonna help you with behavioral issues. So, ciao.
Ciao.